In this next tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to create the break-even chart for your cost-benefit analysis. Break-even is the moment in time when your cumulative project benefits are equal to your cumulative project costs, taking into account the time value of money. So conceptually, you can think of break even as when all our project costs are equal to our project benefits. At that moment in time, the project shifts from being not economically feasible to being economically feasible, and we're very interested to know typically when in the course of a project that occurs. So to create our break-even chart, we're going to start off. We need to first of all have a row of data that's going to contain the years 0 through 20. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a formula for year. I'm just going to refer back to the year numbers we already have in the previous worksheet, and year 0 is just in cell C3, and then I can use my autofill by clicking on the lower right corner and holding, left clicking one time, clicking, dragging, holding, and I believe we're going to go out to cell W1. Alright, so now I have my years 0 through 20 depicted, and then I need to create a new row, and I'm going to have to put in a different formula or a new formula for this row. And this particular formula, I'm going to call it the cumulative net present value. So this is our running total of all of the benefits minus all of the costs, taking into account the time value of money. So in our cost-benefit analysis, we calculated a yearly net benefit. So this is, each one of these columns displays for a given year what was the benefit or cost, taking into account the time value of money. So here we can see in year 4, the net benefit is $680,088. So taking into account the time value of money, we see that the net benefit that's the net benefit for year 4. And then similarly we see the net benefit for each of the other years listed as well. So taking a look at our break-even chart to get our cumulative net present value, this is going to be a running total. So in year 0, our cumulative net present value, I'm going to type in a formula, so I press equals, is just going to be equal to the net benefit that we have listed in cell C16. So our running total in year 0 is just whatever happens to be in year 0. So I click on cell C16, and this is a key part. I have to press return or enter in order for the formula to accept and update back on my break-even chart worksheet. Okay, so now here's where things get a little bit trickier. In year 1, if I want the cumulative net present value or the running total, what I have to do is I have to add the prior year's total, so the prior cumulative totals, and to that amount I'm going to take the yearly net benefit. So I'm going to need a formula, and for my formula I'm going to type in the equal sign. I'm going to refer to the prior year's cumulative total. So cell C2 has my running total, my cumulative net present value up to this point in time is stored in cell C2. And to that amount, I want to add the yearly net benefit. And that yearly net benefit is for year 1, and it's just going to be stored in cell D16. So I select D16 and then I press return, and now we see a running total of my net present value of my benefits. So this is my cumulative net present value of my benefits. And similarly for year 2, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the prior year's cumulative amount, which is stored in cell D2, and to that I'm going to add the year 2 net benefit, taking into account the time value of money, which is stored in cell E16 on the cost benefit analysis worksheet. So I could go ahead and type this same formula in 20 times over, but by now hopefully we all look to autofill, and I'm just going to click, drag, fill the rest in, and you'll notice that it populates the rest of the cells for me. And just kind of a quick look at the formula, and you'll see that it is calculating everything correctly. So this is a running total of our net benefits, taking into account the time value of money for a particular year. So what this is saying is that the yearly, in year 16 of our project, our cumulative running total of project benefits is equal to $4.6 million approximately. So this is a cumulative amount. It's a running total. It's taking into account all of the prior year's benefits up to this moment in time. So the formula is just looking at the prior year's benefits and then adding the yearly amount, which is what we see is happening here. All right, so this is pretty good. Couple other things to highlight. You'll see in year 20, this 5.388 million. This is actually going to match the overall net present value that we see down here listed in cell C18, because overall net present value was just the sum of all the yearly amounts for the 20 given years, which is exactly what we're calculating in cell W2, but we're calculating it in a slightly different way. And then the other point I want to highlight is you'll see these red numbers, the negative numbers, change from negative to positive between year 4 and year 5. So this is the moment in time at which our project breaks even. So it's negative in year 4, but in year 5 we turn to a positive overall net present value, or cumulative net present value. And so that means our project is now break even. So in this particular example, break even occurs in year 5. So we have the values. We next need to display the values in a chart. So Excel has a wonderful chart wizard built into it. I can go ahead and select really anywhere in my data table, and go ahead and go to my insert menu, and then you'll see there's a chart button here, and it'll recommend charts if I ask, but in this case I know exactly what I'd like. I want to do the scatter plot with smooth lines, and you'll see by default it gives me a preview, and you know what, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that in. I'm going to select it, and after I select it I can make it a little bit bigger and we see what we have. And you'll want to do some formatting to add labels to your your Y and your X axis. You might want to change the title to reflect break even. And you'll see here on our X axis we have the years listed, and when our cumulative net present value shifts from negative to positive, so it crosses over that 0 threshold, that's the moment in time in which our project breaks even. So this is your break-even chart, and this is the final worksheet in your workbook. So one of the tremendously beneficial things about Excel is now that I've built everything in Excel using formulas, I can do all kinds of what-if analysis and say, okay, let's say we have a 12% discount rate instead of a 9% discount rate. So all I'm doing is changing one number, I'm updating one cell, and then based on that update, everything in my workbook is going to change. So you'll see my overall net present value changed, My break-even chart's going to change, the curvature of it, and so on. And so this is really one of the big benefits of Excel is, the ability to do all these what ifs where I just change a single number and everything updates immediately based on that one change. So here I put a discount rate of 50%, which is super high, and now we see my overall net present value shifted to a negative amount. So that means in this case we would not move forward with the project. We would not recommend moving forward with the project because the benefits do not outweigh the costs. My break-even chart also updates, and here you can see our cumulative running total of our net present value. It never crosses zero, so it never shifts from negative to positive. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and change it back to 9%. And so this actually concludes part one of your workbook, where part one of your case analysis, where you were asked to create a workbook. In part two of your case analysis, you are going to be using your workbook to answer a series of 4 questions. So don't forget to do part two. This is you're kind of only halfway there. Well, a little bit more than halfway, I should say, in terms of effort. But don't forget to do part two, and don't forget to answer the questions that are listed in your case analysis. This concludes the tutorial. Thank you.